Every year during SummerSlam and WrestleMania season, there's always people that end up being left off the card that people are upset about, and rightfully so, because there are some people missing this year's SummerSlam that should not be missing it. So I'm going to be going over some of the biggest SummerSlam snubs from this year. However, I will not include people who are out for a reason, whether that's injury, filming a movie, raising a kid, being pregnant, or anything like that. But let's get into it first by talking about Randy Orton. Out since WrestleMania after his feud with Cody Rhodes that still isn't finished. And it was rumored that right after WrestleMania that he was dealing with a back injury. Randy shut that down and said he's just milking his summer months. And I don't know if that means Randy is choosing to just be out for the entire summer. I'd like to think he wouldn't do that, considering he knows how badly, probably knows that how badly everybody wants this story to get paid off, how many people wanted it to get ran back at SummerSlam without celebrities. But I don't know, this whole situation is kind of like really confusing, but I do know one way or another he should be on the SummerSlam card, unless he's literally just choosing not to be here, which then I guess whatever. Let's talk about the greatest women's wrestler of all time, and it's not just me saying it, it's Becky Lynch saying it, Sports Illustrated says it, Bleacher Report says it, ESPN says it. WWE doesn't say it because I'm being left off the SummerSlam card. I seriously have no clue why she's not here. She just disappeared after losing the title to Ruka at Clash in Italy. This is another situation where I don't know if she's choosing to be gone. We don't know of any injury that's going on. But just how hot she was when she was there and what she's done over the past year or two. Just doing a bunch of phenomenal, great things and now being left off of the SummerSlam card. They could have ran it back with Ruka. They could have had her in the United States Championship scene to help that title like she did with the IC Intercontinental title. They could have had her feud with Liv Morgan. But it's really unfortunate that she's missing out on the second biggest premium live event of the year. And as of the recording of this, and the release of this, there's still one episode of SmackDown left, so some of the people in this video could still technically return. However, it is highly unlikely because they have exactly 6 matches for both nights right now, and they just today announced the lineup for each night, so I don't think they're going to be adding any more matches. So while it is still possible, it is unlikely that any of these wrestlers are going to return on this episode of SmackDown and get featured on the SummerSlam card. That being said, bring Becky Lynch back. This might be the worst one on the entire list. Bron Breaker, who a year ago was feuding with Roman Reigns and in a match with him at SummerSlam last year, and then was feuding with CM Punk. And then ever since then, it's just been a downward spiral for Bron Breakker. He has been booked like absolute shit. He is currently in a feud with the Alpha Academy, and they couldn't have even added Alpha Academy versus Division for the tag titles to the show. They could have at least done that just to get Bron Breakker on the card. But I mean, man, just get there was also a promo segment on Ad Break on Raw last night, where Bron Breakker just looked pissed. He did not look happy to be there, and I can't blame him. After SummerSlam or whatever, just as soon as possible, honestly, get Bron Breakker the absolute fuck out of this faction, because the Vision is holding him down so much. I think another part of the Bron Breakker being booked so bad is because they found their new toy in Obafemi. So now they're just pouring all their focus into him and treating him as the future, but they're forgetting about Bron Breakker, who is also the future. Let's talk about Roxanne Perez. Overall, her main roster run has really just not been booked well. I thought initially when she got to the main roster that she would her being in the Judgment Day would help her a lot. And I didn't even really know much about her because when she came up, I hadn't been watching NXT, or maybe I just started, I'm not exactly sure. So I didn't really know anything about her, but I'd heard stuff about her. I saw a couple matches. She was great. It seems like she could have genuinely been the future of women's wrestling, and I think she still can be. However, she has certainly not been booked like it during her main roster run. She has basically her entire run been just taking loss after loss. Yes, she did win the tag team championships with Raquel, which was good for her, and I think that was great. But other than that, it's really been nothing. They need to start treating her correctly, like the future of women's wrestling that she is and or can be. She is way too talented in the ring to not be getting matches. Also, am I the only one who thinks this picture looks extremely AI generated? Like, it looks like too, like, smooth. It looks really AI generated, but I can't point to anything that would say it for sure is. But that's besides the point. But Roxanne overall just needs to be booked better. She was also left off of WrestleMania too. You could have had Rox turn on Liv. You could have had her going after the IC title. Like, there's really not an excuse for it. I really think they should have done a Women's Intercontinental Championship ladder match at SummerSlam. And I predicted it when I was trying to predict the SummerSlam match card a month ago. And it could have had the likes of Roxanne, obviously Sol, who is the champion at the time, Raquel, Becky Lynch. You could even throw in like an Ivy Nile in there. You could have thrown in a Julia and sent her over to Raw. She really should just be doing something at SummerSlam, and it's really unfortunate that she isn't. And I feel like she has just constantly been getting disrespected ever since she got on the main roster. Carmelo Hayes. And this has happened twice this year now. Once at WrestleMania, now at SummerSlam, where he's feuding with someone going into a major PLE, and the match is worthy of getting on the PLE with that person he is feuding with, and it looks like they're gonna do it. But then someone else swoops in and just takes the spot because WWE hates Carmelo Hayes or something. I can kind of get it. Kind of, with WrestleMania, with Sami Zayn. You want Trick to beat a reliable name, beat a big name in Sami Zayn. But with this one, I don't get it, because they replaced him with Baron Corbin. And also, I'd like to add, even if they didn't have him go against Trick at SummerSlam, they could have had him go against Ilia at WrestleMania. They could have had him go against Ilia at WrestleMania. And they could have just put on a 15-20 minute match of the year. We've seen in the ring these two just make magic. And imagine what they could do on a WrestleMania level stage. It would have just been crazy insane. Even Baron Corbin, who replaced Carmelo Hayes pretty much, is advocating on social media for Carmelo Hayes to get added to this match. And no, they're not saving Carmelo Hayes versus Trick Williams for a bigger stage. It doesn't get much bigger than SummerSlam except for WrestleMania. And you really think that they care so much about Carmelo Hayes that they want to save this match for a WrestleMania? Nada! They just don't give a fuck. Maybe, just maybe, I could realistically see Carmelo Hayes getting added to the Baron Corbin vs. Trick Williams match this Friday last second, making it a triple threat. And I would love that. I think a lot of people would. But I don't think they will end up doing it, unfortunately. So, another year missed for Carmelo Hayes, which is just so unfortunate. The workhorse of the mid-card can't even get on the second biggest PLE of the year. Bayley. We all thought she was going to be leaving, and turns out she didn't. She returned. In case you don't know, she showed up at a live event, but in a triple threat with Lyra Valkyria and Ruka, I believe 2 days ago on Sunday or Saturday. I'm not exactly sure, but she was there, so she's not gone. They even mentioned her on Raw this week, so thank God that Bayley isn't leaving, but she is being left off the SummerSlam card, which, now that we know she's not leaving, there is literally no excuse to not have Lyra Valkyria versus Bayley on the SummerSlam card. There is genuinely no reason. If she was getting released, obviously I understand that. Her contract might not last until SummerSlam, but there's no excuse, because she's still here. So why are we not doing Lyra versus Bayley at SummerSlam, a match that has been building for a long time when they've been a tag team and has the star power to be on a SummerSlam? I honestly expected them to pay it off on an episode of Raw. Thankfully, they didn't do that, but it doesn't make it any better that it was on Saturday night's main event. This absolutely 100% unequivocally deserved to be on the SummerSlam card. It was so easy, such a layup. You could have even done it at Saturday night's main event and at SummerSlam, but they still didn't want to do that. And Lyra beating Bayley on a big stage, like a huge stage like SummerSlam, would have been way bigger for her than Saturday night's main event. Or you could have, had Bayley in the ladder match for the women's title. You could have had Bayley in the IC title picture. There's so much you could have done with her. Just no excuses here, man. Ilia Dragunov, a lot of the same things I said about Carmelo Hayes can be applied to Ilia. And I remember saying this exact same thing about both Carmelo and Ilia on my WrestleMania Snubs video earlier this year. That's crazy that I'm doing it yet again. Running the mid-card for months. I'm not even going to go that deep into this because I've talked so much about how much Ilia Dragunov's getting disrespected and misbooked or underbooked or whatever. Ran the mid-card, U.S. champion, banger after banger every single time he was in the ring. Was in the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, and then disappeared off the face of the planet. Like, I don't understand. These are the people that work the hardest when it comes to having matches every week. They, like, I don't understand it. Why do you leave the hardest working people on your roster off of your biggest events of the year? I don't get it, man. He is so unbelievably good and one of the best in-ring workers in the entirety of the company of WWE. It is just so baffling to me. Ruka, seemingly cherry handpicked by the WWE to be the future of women's wrestling, as she should be, but you can't feature your future of women's wrestling on your SummerSlam card, your second biggest event of the year. Especially when she was IC champion all the way up until yesterday. They could have easily put Raquel versus Sol on the SummerSlam card. She is just so damn good, and I don't understand how you can't find something for her to do. You can feature her on the John Cena retirement show, but you can't find a place for her as the champion up until yesterday on SummerSlam, which has like 12 matches, and the John Cena retirement show had like 5. Like, it was genuinely so easy to get Ruka on the SummerSlam card. So many people she could have great matches with, so many people she could feud with. They just chose not to. And lastly, but certainly not least, Lyra Valkyria. Brand new heel character, brand new hairstyle, brand new look, brand new outfit, brand new entrance theme, brand new submission finisher. White hot. Everybody's behind her, and you can't get her on the goddamn SummerSlam card. I mean, seriously, what are we doing? Like I said with Bayley, add Lyra vs. Bayley to the SummerSlam card. It'll make the moment way bigger for Lyra. Or just do it on both Saturday night's main event and SummerSlam. You want to know how they followed up one of the biggest wins of her career, beating Bayley? They followed it up on Raw with a commercial break promo saying to Ruka, "I'm coming after your title. Whoever wins between you and Raquel." And then next week, Sol and Raquel had their match. Lyra's nowhere to be found, and she's not on SummerSlam. She had a feud of the year with Becky Lynch last year. And she's just, like, I don't know if the zip tie incident really damaged her stock that much in WWE's eyes, but she should have been put in the main event after that feud. And she should get put in the main event after turning heel. They could have put her in the ladder match. That would have been so fun to see Lyra Valkyria in the ladder match. But no, I don't get it. You put so much effort into this new heel character, and you can't even feature this new hot heel character on your second biggest show of the year, SummerSlam's card. IC title, Bayley, US title, women's title ladder match. All of those could have realistically had her in them, or in a match involving those things or people. I'm losing my mind, man. It's 5 a.m. when I'm recording this, and the fact that I'm losing my mind. It's just so frustrating. So easy to get so many of these ladies and men on the SummerSlam card. They just don't want to or don't care enough to do it. And also, if you're wondering why I didn't include AJ Lee in this list, it's because I think she probably just chose not to come back. I think she probably had the choice of whether or not she wanted to be at SummerSlam, and I'm sure if she chose to come back, they would have found something for her, and I just don't think she felt like coming back right now. I could, of course, be wrong, but I think she probably just chose not to be there, and that's why I didn't include her. But yeah, that's going to be it for this video. Let me know if there's someone I missed. Thank you all so much for watching. Like and subscribe if you want, and